Live pictures of Donald Trump's rally. He has yet to take the stage, 7:45 Eastern. This is Trump's first event in 11 days. For the first time in many years, Donald Trump is not dominating the headlines, and he seems just fine with that. He's made a few appearances since the debate. June 27th was the debate. June 28th was a rally. July 4th, virtual remarks. He did a phone interview to Sean Hannity, said nothing. July 11th, held a rally in Doral, Florida. In fact, one pro-Biden Twitter account is now complaining that Trump isn't out there more. Former White House Chief of Staff, NewsNation contributor Mick Mulvaney is with us. Boy, don't you wish you had this problem when you were at the White House?
Listen, I think he's doing exactly the right thing. I think he learned from the mistake of the first 2020 debate. There's a rule in politics, you know it as well as anybody. When your opponent is digging a hole, you don't take away their shovel. And Donald Trump took Joe Biden's shovel away in that first debate in 2020. And there was an instant during the debate last week where I could sort of see it in his eyes. He looked over, realized Joe wasn't on that night, and then Donald Trump got out of the way and let Joe keep digging.
There have been many times, though, that Donald Trump's enemies were digging with shovels, and he took away the shovel. We have a few of those moments. Take a listen.
That Hillary, as I say, crooked Hillary. It could be we're going to run against Crazy Bernie. That could be. Could be Crazy Bernie. Crying Chuck. Crazy Nancy. I tell you what, I've been watching her. We're going to win this state, and then we're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired.
That's not real crazy. Okay,
what's wrong with that? I was at that last one.
Right. I was going to say,
Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Right. That's not real crazy. Who's he listening to now all of a sudden?
I think himself more than anybody else. I think he's simply learning the process, right? Keep in mind, he's only run for president 3 times. I mean, he's not run for 40 or 50 years. He's not been in politics for 40, 50 years. And this is a business just like anything else. That being said, I do understand that Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita are giving really good advice, and he's listening to them. So he's got a good team. It's a professional team. Remember, 2016, it was sort of a cast of misfits. Whoever couldn't get a job with somebody else would work for Donald Trump. Now, everybody in the world wants to work for him because he's the biggest name in Republican politics. So he's getting good advice. He's giving himself good advice. You open by saying, he's been out of the news, and that's unusual. He's up in the polls, and that's what really counts.
Right, no, he is up in the polls against Joe Biden. He is not up in the polls against Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris. Does that play into a decision that has to be made in the next 7 days, which is his vice president pick?
I go back and forth on this. I think his VP is his VP. I don't think it makes a difference. I think he's assuming he's running against Joe Biden. And I think that's a safe bet. I think there's a 40% chance it's not Joe Biden, but odds are it's going to be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is vice president. So I think that's what he's expecting to play against, and that will go into his VP decision.
Yeah, which will not be tonight, right? We're not going.
I don't think so.
You don't want that out there.
Well, I got a text from the campaign saying, tune in to my show tonight, Doral. Maybe I'll announce my vice presidential pick. That's a smart move from a campaign perspective. I don't see it just because I don't think the audience is there tonight. He's going to have to ramp this up, and I think Monday is the deadline for having to do something in order to have the person nominated at the convention.
Real quick. Is there a world in which Donald Trump as a candidate fundamentally changed? We're going to look back on that debate and say, different guy.
Ordinarily, I'd say no. I say about both Biden and Trump. That Trump's in his late 70s, Biden's early. People don't change that much at that age. But I remember seeing this during the debate when he leaned over. I can't remember what Biden said, but Trump sort of looked at him sideways like this, and all of a sudden his demeanor changed. I wonder if that's when he didn't realize that Joe wasn't all there, and there's really very little that Trump had to do to make Biden look bad. Biden was doing it for himself.
And you say 40% chance that Joe Biden drops out, in which case Kamala Harris would likely be the nominee. Almost certainly. And then she would have to choose a vice president. We'll have that when we come back. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.